Hey everybody, good morning. Today is day one of our 7-day hormonal health reset, and I am so excited to be here with you and to share this week with you. I can't even tell you how much I am in dire need of some accountability. I have fallen off the wagon, as they say, and it just feels good to have some support and to know that we're all in this together. So this morning, hopefully you got to start your day with your supplements. So one of each from your Lifelong Vitality Pack before breakfast and 2 of the Terrazyme. And you ate hopefully a nice hearty breakfast. I baked my oatmeal. I'll share a photo in the email that I'll send out to you today with the recording. And I'm excited for today's lunch. I actually am a big fan of these recipes, obviously. And I hope that you find the ones that become your favorites, and then you just keep using them beyond this reset, and they become part of your family's rotation of recipes. So these little Q&As in the morning are intended for conversation back and forth. How are things going, and what's working, what's not working, how are you feeling, and any questions about the recipes or even about hormones, we can dig deeper into the endocrine system. I'd love to have a small topic that I share every day, just to take about 5 minutes where I can dive a little deeper into some of the things we talked about on our workshop, because I think it's important to really understand those concepts deep down and the why, and really dive into why we're looking at the root cause and not just that Band-Aid effect. I would love it by a raise of hands if we were all in a room to see how many of us have just religiously lived by that Band-Aid effect, where you maybe have even something come up all of a sudden, and so you run to the store or you get online and you order something for that quick fix. I'm guilty of it too. And I think this reset is really meant to help bring you back to a place of homeostasis and to remind you that you are a natural, living, breathing, beautiful being. And there's no synthetic Band-Aid, if you will, that's going to bring us true health and true happiness. And so the best way to do that is to look at our bodies and listen to our body's needs and figure out what it is that we really truly need in order to heal. And again, healing takes time. So I wrote down a couple of bullet points here that I wanted to make sure that we don't miss, because I wanted to see if you were on the call last night or if you watched the recording, how many of you got those 7 precious hours of sleep. So Lupe or Meredith, did you get at least 7 hours of sleep? I'm dying to know. I got exactly 7.
Wow.
I did not.
No?
No.
Dude, what did you get, Lupe?
I was up 3 times. I have a 2-year-old girl, and last night was just not a good night for her.
Yeah.
I was up 3 times, and then, yeah, so maybe 7.
Maybe if you add them all up.
Yeah.
Well, extenuating circumstances, right? You have children, and poor little sweet girl had to get up in the middle of the night. I can totally relate to that. For some reason, with the time change, my kids did not get up early, and they did not wake me up today, which was kind of a miracle. I think the mornings are just a little bit darker here, and so it's kind of tricking them that it's still the middle of the night. How about you, Meredith?
I probably got 6 hours.
6
by
hours.
the time because the call ended for me, it was 10 o'clock. And then by the time I actually got to bed, and then I got up a couple times because I remembered a few things that I hadn't done. So,
yeah.
And then my daughter was up at 4:50, I think, ready to go for the day.
Because of the time change.
No, I think she just was like, oh, I'm ready to get up. And I was able to convince her to lay back down for a little bit longer, but that wasn't restful sleep.
Yeah,
so.
no. Of course not. Your body's already woken up in this state of like alarm and stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, shoot. Well, I think that doing the reset the week of the daylight savings time switch is kind of funny because it's not the norm, right? Everything is a little bit off. I know it is for me. I feel tired in the morning even though I'm still getting that rest. So I think it's going to take like at least a week or so to get used to the time shift. But right, my body wants to wake up with the sun and not with the dark. Like it just feels like it's not time to get up for school yet, but it is. Oh, awesome. Okay, so what about today being able to take your supplements? Is that something that you were able to accomplish? Did the supplements happen for you?
I took them.
Great.
I remembered to take them.
Good,
So.
good. That's step one, is just remembering, and that muscle memory, right, and habit that you're creating. Okay, and what about, did you have any time to kind of be quiet and be still and set your intentions for the week and what you'd like to get out of it?
I snuck away getting ready, like left my husband with my daughter while she was getting ready for school and snuck away for about 5 minutes and just kind of took some breathers and intended on making it through today, with little sleep and hitting everything that I wanted to get accomplished. So
perfect. I like that. Hi, Kira. Welcome. So, Kira, we're just in the middle of chatting about some of the things that we were able to start our day with. So, were you able to have some quiet time this morning? Or Lupe?
Yeah, can you hear me? My daughter is in my room, sorry.
Oh, no, I can hear you perfectly.
So I took the digestive enzymes first, and then I had breakfast, and then I did the vitality pack.
Uh-huh. Perfect. No, you're totally fine.
And I did. So yeah, that was a good start, and I did do 15 minutes of treadmill this morning.
Nice. That's awesome. Getting the body moving first thing. That's beautiful. I haven't gotten to that point yet. So great job. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So Kira, if you're open to share, please do.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi. Welcome.
Oh, okay. Hi. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a technology dummy sometimes.
No, don't even say that because we've all been there.
But yeah, I haven't had time to have the quiet time yet. I will when I get to put my little daughter down for a nap at 10 o'clock. So
yeah,
coming up soon, or 10:30, coming up soon.
Yeah. So are you on the Utah time zone then?
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So that's awesome. Were you able to get some sleep last night?
I was actually, yeah. My little girl doesn't sleep super great, but she slept a good 5-hour chunk for me.
That's awesome.
Kept waking up, but I got a little bit more than normal. So
good. That makes me so happy. I think it's one of the things that we assume doesn't really play a role in all of this, but it's probably one of the most important pieces of healing is sleep and self-care. And so I'm going to just stress that every time we get on in the morning on our call, because I want to be that reminder and that little friend in your ear that's like, hey, you matter. And if you don't take time for you, then this isn't going to work. So thank you so much, Kira.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people that can survive on little sleep.
I know, me too. Totally. Me too. I feel you for sure. Okay, so I want to dive a little bit deeper into talking to you about water. And I think one of the things that people often forget is how important it is to get a ton of water every day. And as you are kind of moving through these beginning stages and starting to take all these supplements and starting to be more intentional about the food you're eating, it's so easy to forget to drink water. We're so busy. We go through our day, we're running around, and maybe you already have this as a practice of yours and you bring water bottles with you everywhere. But what I want you to be even more intentional on this week is trying to include lemon in your water. Lemon is a really great natural detoxifier that just helps to further cleanse and detox the body throughout the day and really pull all those leftover hormones that are in the body that are hanging out. We want our hormones to repopulate, but we also want them to die off in a way that is natural and they don't stick around and wreak havoc on the body. And so a lot of times in order to do that, your body needs like an extra push, even though it's, magical and your body can do all sorts of healing on its own. It's nice to include these homeopathic type holistic things into your everyday regimen that can just further assist the body to work even better. And one of the things that I kind of point out to people is that your body's actually not done detoxing until about 10 a.m. the next day. So remember how on the call we talked about when you fall asleep, your liver is working in overdrive and it is filtering out all the toxins that you've consumed throughout the day, not just through food or through chemical residue of pesticides, but also the things that touch your body or that you came in contact with in your environment, maybe even through your lungs. If I was in Italy a couple weeks ago and there was so much smoke. People just were smoking cigarettes every single place you went. And I felt it. I felt my body weaker at the end of the day. And so my body had to filter out all of that nicotine that had made it into my system and kind of like re-prep itself for the next day. And so because your body is not done completely detoxing until about 10 a.m. the next day, it's really great to start your morning with a nice glass of water with lemon. And I actually warm mine up and I have it in tea. This is just an example to show you one of my forms of self-care. So I do my supplements, I have my breakfast, and then I always make sure to have a nice warm mug of either water or tea and then squeeze a lemon into it so that I can help the body to further detox and further cleanse itself. What happens a lot of times in your digestive tract and in the lining of your stomach is you end up having all of this leftover bacteria or fungus or overgrowth of yeast because the body is unable to cleanse itself. So I'm going to show you an example. I don't even know if everyone can see my face or if you have me on speakerphone, but with my fingers, I'm kind of showing you what the lining of the stomach looks like. So you have these tubes, okay? And then once you get to the stomach, there is this little thing that kind of pops up everywhere and they look like tentacles. And there's trillions of them and they're called villi. And these villi are what your food get caught on and then it absorbs into the lining of your stomach. And that's how you get energy and stamina and absorb vitamins and nutrients within the foods you're eating and supplements and things like that, or even just hydration. But what often happens is if these villi get clogged, so let's say you're eating fatty foods, processed sugars, refined sugars, or just anything that your body has a hard time digesting, it will clog the villi so that nothing really good can absorb into the lining. And then it ends up causing lots of problems and degenerative diseases down the line. So what that lemon water does is it helps to like come by the villi and just sweep it out, kind of like a broom, right? So it's just stripping that lining of all the yuckiness. And obviously lemon water works really well because it's high in that limonene content. But what's super interesting, and most of you here are new to essential oils, is that lemon essential oil is actually so much more potent and powerful because in a 15 milliliter size bottle, which I'll go grab one so you can see the size, it's 75 lemons in one bottle. So the potency is a lot stronger. And because of that, goes down there. You just need one tiny little drop of it. If you don't have a fresh lemon, it's so convenient to use your essential oil, and it just strips it away even faster. So, and also protects your teeth, right? Because a lot of people don't like to drink lemon water for their enamel on their teeth. They don't want it to get broken down. So let me go grab that bottle of lemon. I'll be right back. Okay, thanks for sticking it out with me. All right, so here it is. Can you see it? Here, I'll unmute you too so you can ask questions about this. Oh, okay. And Meredith, it looks like you'll have to unmute yourself. Oh, there we go. You see this bottle? It's pretty small. It's like, I mean, you can see next to my tea, it's quite small in comparison. And there's 250 drops in here, and you only need one drop in your morning water to help facilitate that cleansing and detoxifying property into your system. So it's pretty magical stuff.
I'm a fan of lemon water.
Yeah, it's good, right? It's refreshing. It just makes you feel like more clean. Do you guys have any questions about kind of how to go into day one, or any questions about the supplements or the recipes?
I'm using my leftover spinach, and I'm using stuff that I already have at home. I have lentils instead of black beans right now, so I'm hoping to use lentils instead of black beans. I don't know if that makes a big difference.
No, that's fine.
And then yesterday, this is more about the hormone stuff, figuring out what kind of type I need. I think I'm more towards the insulin.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I need to like change anything because of that blood sugar problem.
Yeah. So all the recipes that I've given you are going to help every single one of the triggers. So as long as you are avoiding sugar this week, I mean, you definitely will get a little bit of a headache if you're somebody who's always has to have sugar every day, and then you're not having it this week. You're going to feel a little bit of that like detox symptoms. You may start to feel even like a little sore, or like maybe some mild symptoms of a cold in the beginning stages of detox. But because it's just 7 days, it won't be as bad as if you were doing it for like 30 days. So fruit is great. I love eating fruit because it's such a great way to wean ourselves from artificial sugars, because it's got tons of natural sugars in there still, and super, super healthy and hydrating and really good for you. So I know, like for the snacks today, I have orange slices, but if you don't have that and you've got pears or apples or something like that, that's a really great substitute for sugar.
And do you want us to eat on, I have grapefruit, so do you want us to eat like the whole grapefruit?
So the amount of food doesn't matter to me. I want you to kind of listen to your body and feel, are you full? Are you not full? I don't feel like a grapefruit would really fill me up. If it was a snack, I'd probably eat the whole thing. It's more just about eating foods that are anti-inflammatory and good for your body, not so much the amount of food that I'm worried about. Does that make sense? Cool. What other questions do you guys have?
What about the Mirena IUD?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. So when you have a synthetic hormone releaser in the body, whether it's birth control or an IUD, it can sometimes, for a lot of people, throw off their hormones. And so it's because it's not a natural release of hormones in the body. It's coming from this other source. And so there will be side effects. Anytime you invite something into your body that has synthetic properties and the body doesn't recognize it as being natural, then you're going to feel a result from that. So for you, it might look different than it would for me or for someone else. I mean, maybe this is TMI, but my husband had a vasectomy, and so I made him do it so I wouldn't have to do any birth control, because I personally have gone through so much with my hormones in my life that the last thing I want to do is like have to do something to myself to prevent myself from getting pregnant. But not everyone is in that scenario, and I totally understand that. So I think the way that you're going to have to navigate this is, if you're keeping that in, then you just have to treat it like it's part of you and kind of work around those symptoms. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it helps in some areas, but at the same time, I'm such a naturalist that I'm like, I don't really need it. My husband also has had a vasectomy. I don't have any complications. I just don't like the idea of it being in me for 5 years, and then that day that I have to take it out, I've heard is super painful, and then restarting this cycle of am I regular, like that worries me for the long run. But right now I don't have any complications other than I don't have a period, which is also kind of bizarre. But I've heard good and bad things, like, oh well, you don't really need to have a period. Like that's,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I will say to you that most OBGYNs are not trained in the field of like holistic health and naturopathic remedies. Most of them are looking at it from just like a very Western medicine ideology, which is, how to have the person be in less pain and live like a healthy life, which sounds fine, but a lot of times that like less pain or less problems is done to mask what the deeper root causes are. And so I don't think personally, and from speaking with my own like naturopath, that it's healthy to not have a period for an extended period of time, because your cycle is healthy. It's part of releasing hormones in the body that you do need to get rid of. Does that make sense?
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
My daughter's 2, and I'm like, holy cow! Like between like breastfeeding and everything, like I haven't had a period.
Yeah.
Probably not normal.
Yeah. Well, when you're nursing and you don't get your cycle back for a while, that's totally normal. But because that's the body's like regulating itself. But if it's from like forced synthetic hormonal release where it's like not allowing your body to have it, then that's different. And I'm not saying it's bad. That's a personal choice, and you get to kind of decide how you want to navigate through that. But for like the body's just hormonal regulation, it's not natural to not have it.
I think so also. It's just not having a period.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, after I was nursing for like a year and a half, I got my cycle back, and it was hard. Like it's definitely a shift in the body, and it's super, like you have to be patient through it and kind of like talk to your spouse about it and figure out how like, can he pick up the weight a little bit? And that's just a time where we have those serious conversations. And I think it's possible, it's just a decision you kind of have to think about and decide on your own with your husband if that's something you guys want to try and do. I mean, I feel like with my husband, he's so patient with me, and as long as I'm honest and I say like, hey, this is something I'm going through right now, like I'm always honest with him. I can feel if I'm ovulating, and I just say, hey, I'm ovulating right now, and I'm more quick to be anxious, so you could just kind of bear with me through this week. You know what I mean? Because I can feel it, and I'm very in tune with my hormones the last 4 or 5 years, and I just think it's important to communicate those things so that you have that support.
Good. Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions for today? I'm so excited, you guys. I need you to keep me accountable, so email me back if you have questions and you didn't make it on with us on the call today, and we'll talk about those questions tomorrow. I am so excited for tonight's recipe, this eggplant caponata. It's a variation of a family recipe, and if you make it right and you do it with love, it will become some of your family's favorites. So have an awesome day. First day one, kicking off. And don't forget to take your Terrazyme before lunch, and then the rest of your Lifelong Vitality supplements before dinner, and your Terrazyme again, and then your probiotic right before bed, because we're all in this together, ladies. Chin chin. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kira. Thanks, Meredith. Bye, Lupe.
Bye.
Bye, guys.